Okay, there we go. Now we're recording, y'all. Okay, so y'all, what we're going to go through is we're going to go through section oops, 5.1, which is measuring length, and we're going to talk a little bit about the metric system. Okay, so y'all, as I'm going through this stuff here, okay, and let's see what we have. It says length. Every measurement consists of two parts, a number and a unit of measure. So again, if we're talking about, say, the length of a dinosaur, right? Man, I haven't talked about dinosaurs since elementary school. 88 feet. So 88 is the number, and then the unit of measure is being in a foot. Okay. So it says many different units are commonly used in measuring length. When we measure things in feet, that's what we call the English system. And it's what we use here in the United States, or we use this in America. So in this system of measurement, length is expressed in units such as inches or feet or yards or miles, right? So again, we're in Wesco, and if you're going to drive to La Feria, we're going to say the distance is, I don't know, 7 miles, 12 miles, whatever it happens to be, right? If we were to cross the border and we were to say, what's the distance between Nuevo Progreso and, say, Miguel Alemán, we're going to talk about that distance in kilometers, right? Because when we cross the border, we use the metric system. All right, so in the English system, what we use in the United States, y'all, these are some of the common measurements that we use. So 12 inches is a foot, 3 feet is the same thing as 1 yard, 36 inches is 1 yard, and 5,280 feet is the same thing as a mile. So y'all, as I start to go through these questions here, what we're going to do is we're going to figure out how do we do conversions, okay? And the way we do conversions, y'all, is this real simple idea called dimensional analysis. We're going to use a fraction, and we're going to figure out how to use a fraction to do some converting here. So look, let me show you guys what I'm going to do. We want to take 12 inches and or 12 yards, I'm sorry, and we want to convert that to inches. The first thing I'm going to do, y'all, I'm going to write 12 yards, and I'm going to write that over the number 1, okay? And then I'm going to multiply it by some fraction, and the answer that I want to end up with, y'all, the answer that I want to end up with is going to be in inches, okay? So what I'm going to do, y'all, is I'm going to look at this box right here, and I'm going to ask myself, do we have any sort of information that involves both yards and inches? Well, the first one goes yards to feet. Not exactly what I want. This one goes 3 feet to yards. Look at this one, y'all. 36 inches is the same thing as 1 yard. So the units that I want to end up with, I want to end up with inches. That's going to be the top part of my fraction. So I'm going to put 36 inches here. The units that I have on the top over here are going to be the units that I'm going to write on the bottom. So I'm going to write 1 yard over there. Now, y'all, I know it's been a little bit of time, but earlier this semester, we were talking about multiplying fractions and reducing them. And I'm going to make up just a real quick, simple problem here, like 2 over 3 times, I don't know, 1 over 4. And y'all, when we did these problems earlier this semester, one way we said is, look, we can just multiply everything straight across and then reduce it. But the other thing that we said we could do is if there was a number on the top that could reduce with the number on the bottom, we would do that. So we'd say, look, we're going to divide them both by 2. 2 goes into 2 once, and 2 goes into 4 2 times. Just like we did that, y'all, these yards on the top and those yards on the bottom are going to go away. Okay, now what am I going to do? I'm going to multiply straight across. So y'all, I'm going to take my calculator, boom, right here, and I'm going to go straight across. What's 12 times 36? 12 times 36 is 432. So I'm going to write it right here, 432. What's 1 times 1? Still 1. And 432, y'all, divided by 1 is still 432. And that's how I'm going to do my conversions, okay? I'm going to look at what do we currently have. We currently have 12 yards. We want to convert that to inches. I'm going to write that number 12 as 12 over 1, but I'm going to write out the units as well. I'm going to write out the little YD, right? And then I'm going to ask myself, okay, do I have anything that helps me convert to that? Yeah, that does right there. And whatever units I have on top here, those are going to put on the bottom over there. And whatever units I want to end up with, like in this case, inches, I'm going to make sure that inches goes on the top. Okay. So look, y'all, let's try a couple more, see if we can, again, get the hang of this. Okay. Yes. Oh, they're right there at the top. I'm sorry. They're right there at the top. There you go. To your right. There you go. Those are yours. All right. So look, y'all, on the second page, we're going to go from 27 feet to yards. So the first thing I'm going to do, y'all, I'm going to come back here and I'm going to write 27 with the little FT, and I'm going to put that over 1. And I'm going to put a fraction bar right here, and I'm going to put an equals. And I want to make sure that this ends up with, y'all, in yards. Okay. So, y'all, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to ask myself, in this piece over here, on the little table or the little piece of information they gave me on the right, do I have anything there that tells me anything about feet and yards? And I'm going to look right here. Look, y'all. Boom. 3 feet is the same thing as 1 yard. Okay, so now let's figure out where that stuff is going to go. Look, y'all, right now on the top, I have feet. So I want to get feet on the bottom. What describes the feet? Oh, 3 of them. Okay. What do I want to end up with? I want to end up with yards. So the 1 yard, y'all, is going to go to the top. Okay. Now, just like we did before, y'all, these units right here, the feet, are going to go away. Why? One's in the top, one's in the bottom. Y'all, I'm just going to multiply straight across. Anybody know what's 27 times 1? 27, right? What's 1 times 3? 3. Now, I'm going to take my calculator again, y'all. I'm going to take 27, and we're going to divide it by 3. 27 divided by 3, boom. Nice and pretty, 9. And there's my answer, right? So, y'all, the nice thing about these problems is that there should be a way for me to figure out my answer using the information that I have on the right side. Okay, so look, let's try this next one here. 3.6 miles to feet. Okay, first thing I'm going to do, y'all, 3.6 miles, I'm going to write that over 1 times some fraction, and I want to get our answer, y'all, in feet. Okay. So, y'all, the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to ask myself, do I have anything in this box right here that tells me anything about feet and miles? Yeah, look at this guy right here. This guy right here talks about feet and miles. So notice, y'all, right now we have miles on the top. So I want to put miles on the bottom. Why? Because I want them to cancel out. I want to end up with feet, so I'm going to put 50 to 80 feet on the top. Okay. Now, again, y'all, just like we did before, look, these miles and those miles are going to go away. And I'm going to take my calculator, y'all, and I'm going to take 3.6 times 50 to 80, 19,008. Okay. 1 times 1 is still 1. And when I divide this by 1, y'all, we get the same thing, right? Boom. And there we go. Okay, so y'all, when we're going to convert between US units, this is basically going to be the process, okay? Whatever units you have on the top here, you want to make sure they're on the bottom. Whatever units you want to end up with here, you want to make sure that those go upstairs, okay? And whatever we have here, y'all, should be able to help us figure that out, okay? So now, y'all, we're going to talk a little bit about the metric system. Okay, so like I said, y'all, If you have family across the border in Mexico, this is what you see more often, right? If you go across to Mexico and you're going to go buy aguacates, they sell them to you by the kilogram, right? So again, we use the metric system everywhere else in the world except for here. So kilo means 1,000, hecto means 100, deca means 10, deci is 1/10, centi is 1/100th, and milli is 1/1000th. Okay, so y'all, we actually use some of these here in the United States too. So if you ever have a headache and you decide, you know what, mom, do you have anything for my headache? She says, here you go, mija, let me give you some Tylenol. How much am I going to take? You're going to take one pill. How much is one pill? 500 milligrams, right? You're going to take one pill of Tylenol, Advil, whatever it is, right? Okay, so y'all, look, let me scroll down here and I'm going to show you a couple of things. So this here, y'all, kind of gives us an idea of how big or small things are. So the first one says the width of lead in a pencil. So if I got my pencil and I'm looking at the tip, right, that's pretty small. How wide is it? About 2 millimeters or about 0.08 of an inch, right? It's a small number. The width of an adult's thumb. So I got a real big thumb, y'all. Mine's very primal, right? So 2 centimeters or 0.8. Mine's probably a little bit bigger, right? The height of an adult male, 6 foot, right? 6 foot is on average, right? Some people taller, some people shorter. Typical room height, 2.5 meters or 8.3 feet. This is probably, if I'm a little bit over 6, maybe a little bit more in this room, right? Okay, so again, you can see we have different heights, right? Look, the height of the Empire State Building, 1,270 feet. That's pretty tall, right? The average depth of the ocean, 2.5 miles. That's pretty deep. Okay, so anywho, we got some different pieces of information here. How far is it from here to the moon? 240,251 miles. That's pretty far, right? Okay, so look, y'all, I'm going to show you what I hope is to be the easy breezy cover girl way of doing problems when we're going to change within the metric system. Okay, so y'all, the first problem here says in the diagram in the box, or use the diagram in the box to convert the given measurement to the indicated. Okay, so y'all, what we have here is we have 2.83 centimeters, and we want to change it to hectometers. Okay, so look, y'all, here are centimeters, and I want to get to hectometers. So I'm going to ask you a question. I want you to do me a favor. I want you to count 1, 2, 3, 4. We counted 4 spaces, right? Yo, we moved 4 spaces, but we moved 4 spaces what direction? Anybody know? 4 spaces to the, which way was I going? To the right or to the left? All right, let's make sure we're good. Let's come back one more time. Otra vez. Look, we're right here. Centimeters. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Which way did I go? To the left. Okay. What I want you to do for me right here, y'all, take your decimal point. We're going to count 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. If I got to go over here, what number do you think I should put right there in the middle? Anybody know? 0.02883 hectometers. And that's all you got to do. All you got to do, y'all, is count. Okay? Now, that's all I'm going to do in every one of these problems. I'm going to look at what do I have? Where do I want to end up with? Okay? So look, let's try another one. Let's go down here. Okay, right now we are at 0.024 millimeters and we want to go to meters. Okay, so look, y'all, here are millimeters and I want to get to meters. Okay, I'm going to start counting. 1, 2, 3. We moved 3 spaces. Which way did we move though? To the right or to the left? To the left. Okay, look, let's count. 1, 2, 3. What do you think I got to put there? Zeros, right? Boom, there we go. Remember, my decimal place, y'all, used to be, if you're wondering, my decimal place used to be right here. 1, 2, 3. That's all you got to do. Okay. All you got to know how to do is count. All right, let's try another one. Y'all, we're going to go from millimeters to decimeters. Okay, so here we are. Let's come back one more time. Millimeters, we want to go to decimeters. Okay, so look, we're going to go 1, 2 right there, just 2 spaces. Y'all, when I see my number 2873, I don't see a decimal place. But if I don't see a decimal place, y'all, it just means that my decimal is at the end, right? And we move 2 spaces which way? To the left. 28.73. Boom. Decimeters. Y'all, let's do one. Let's just make up one real quick just to make sure that we are okay. And I'm going to just do one here, y'all. Oops, sorry. 4.2 kilometers. And I want to convert that to centimeters. Okay. So I'm just going to make one up, y'all. Look, 4.2 kilometers. Here are, let's do it like this. Here is kilometers. And I want to get to centimeters. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But now, y'all, we moved what? To the right. So here's my decimal. I'm going to move it 5 spaces to the right. Right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. I got to put a 0, a 0, a 0, and a 0. Boom. And there's my answer. Like I said, y'all, all you got to know how to do is count. Guys, which one is easier, the metric system or the feet to miles or the or the inches to yards or whatever? Which one do you think seems easier? Anyone have an idea? Anyone got an opinion? Which one seems easier? The first or the second? No opinion? No? All right. So guys, everywhere else uses the metric system. Everybody else in the world says this is easier. In the United States, we say this is easier. You get to decide which one is easier. There's no really right or wrong answer, right? It's just what's easier for you. Okay. Y'all, 5.1, super short. What did I tell you? Easy breezy cover girl stuff, right? So y'all, just as a heads up, let me stop recording. Boom. Let's stop recording.